Alright, it seems like Google has reached a new era of intelligence with Gemini 3. If you remember, at the start of the AI era, Google was way behind compared to ChatGPT, Claude, and all the other AI models that exist right now. And people were always confused about how did Google fall behind in this AI arms race. But fast forward to today, Google gradually climbed the ladder and showed everyone why Google will always be the peak tech company in the world. Recently, Google launched Gemini 3 and it has a bunch of features packed that really outperforms every other AI model's tech stack out there. So let's actually go through Gemini 3, see what it brings in, and see how it's going to help software engineers, or basically the world, in reaching one step closer to something called artificial general intelligence. So if you go through this article over here, you can see in the story, there is a note from the CEO, then they introduce Gemini 3, then they introduce something called Gemini 3's Deep Think, and then they build up along with that. So first of all, I won't read through everything, but I'll just give you a brief overview. Their CEO, basically Sundar Pichai and Demis Hassabis, they both claim that this is their most smartest model yet. As you can see over here, and now we are introducing Gemini 3, our most intelligent model that combines all of Gemini's capabilities together so you can bring any idea to life. Now, of course, if a CEO says that, you're just not supposed to blindly believe that, because they would obviously praise their product more than anybody else. But after using this for a while and after seeing all the features and functionalities, it seems like Gemini 3 is truly superior to everything else. So first of all, a few cool highlights for Gemini 3 are that it has a long context window. So basically it can remember things for a much longer period of time. So you can provide it way more information and it's going to retain that information and not forget things as you have a long conversation with Gemini 3. And not only that, it also has something called Deep Think. Now this is not something that's integrated to the platform yet, I guess, but it's going to come pretty soon. So Gemini 3 Deep Think mode pushes the boundaries of intelligence even further, delivering a step change in Gemini 3's reasoning and multimodal understanding capabilities to help you solve even more complex problems. So by multimodal over here, it means that Gemini 3 can understand video, images, texts, and everything. So basically you can ask it to generate images, or you can provide it an image and ask it to analyze that image, and it's going to give you answers accordingly. It can also see a video and talk about that video or summarize that video for you, and it can also deal with text as GPT and all of them usually do. So Gemini 3 has enhanced multimodal understanding capabilities, meaning it can understand text, videos, images better, and at the same time it has outperformed every other AI model when it comes to reasoning as well. So basically you can see the benchmarks over here. You can see Gemini 3 was run over Humanity's Last Exam, which is a very popular reasoning and knowledge exam. It was also benchmarked upon GPQA Diamond test, which is a scientific knowledge test, and also it was run upon visual reasoning puzzles. And in all of them, you can see Gemini 3 Deep Think, especially Gemini 3 Deep Think, has outperformed every other model. Not just every other Gemini model, but also Claude and GPT's most popular model. So you can see Gemini 3 Deep Think mode excels on some of the most challenging AI benchmarks. You can see more details on the evaluation methodology. So if you go here, you can see there's a whole PDF which you can read upon and see based on what stuff or basically on what parameters this was evaluated. Then if you go down, there is something very interesting that Gemini 3 has launched for software developers, and that is nothing but anti-gravity. So if I search anti-gravity over here, you can see there's something called Google Anti-Gravity. This is nothing but an IDE for programmers, just like Cursor, Windsurf and all, but this gives you extended enhanced capabilities. One, because majority of the people use Chrome browser, and now Google has created an IDE which is going to support Chrome browser and bring out its enhanced capabilities. So basically it can not just take your information, read through your code files and produce code files and features based on your demand. It can also go to the browser, look into the browser and do a bunch of things based on how you want it to. So if I go to Google Anti-Gravity over here, you can see Google Anti-Gravity experience liftoff with the next generation IDE. If I go down here, you can see Google's anti-gravity editor view offers tab auto-completion, natural language code commands, and a configurable context-aware configurable agent. So this is pretty much there in Cursor as well, but this is going to be using Gemini 3 under the belt, which is going to be pretty advanced. And at the same time, it has browser control. So let's just read more. A more intuitive task-based approach to monitoring agent activity, presenting you with essential artifacts and verification results to build trust. So basically, this will, when you give it a certain prompt to create something for you or build a additional feature on top of an existing feature, it's going to give you this entire visualization where it builds everything for you. And not only that, it also tests on what you have asked it to build, and it keeps testing it until it has given the actual output that you require it to give. So it's like also going to test all your stuff up along with building things out. And because it has browser control as well, so it can go to the browser, check the DOM elements, check the visual UI layout, and make sure everything has been tested perfectly and you're being given exactly what you want the way you asked for. So there's also cross-surface agents, synchronized agentic control across your editor, terminal, and browser for powerful development workflows. So exactly, because everything is going to be used by Gemini 3 and it's under the Google ecosystem, you can synchronize all these agentic control across your editor, terminal, and browser to create basically anything. It has also intuitively integrated feedback across surfaces and artifacts to guide and refine the agent's work. And you can also manage multiple agents. And as you can see here, it's built for developers for the agent first era. Okay, so back to the other article. So there's another thing that Google launched along with Gemini 3, and that is nothing but Nano Banana Pro. I guess that's what it's called. So Gemini Nano Banana Pro. So if I open this, try Gemini Nano Banana Pro. So if you have used Nano Banana, you will understand how valuable this is going to be, because Nano Banana itself was a pretty good product. So if I actually, let's say, go to my Google AI Studio, you can see the comic driven images that I can create just with Nano Banana 2.5. So if you check over here, you can select the different models to generate images in Nano Banana. So if I click over here, you can see we were currently using Nano Banana, and using Nano Banana, I was able to create all these interesting images, basically comic driven style images created by however you prompt it and ask it to deliver. But now there's another option, Nano Banana Pro, which is also not quite expensive. Like output per image is $2, and basically your input is going to be $2 per 1 million tokens, and output image is going to be $0.134 per image. So output images up to 1024 x 1024 pixels consume 1120 tokens and are equivalent to this much dollars per image, which is not much. And that's the beauty of Gemini. It's always delivering high quality with low price. But if you actually use Nano Banana, you will understand how quickly it generates images. It generates images within 5 to 10 seconds as compared to GPT, which takes a lot of time to generate images, and they are not quite interesting as well. So Nano Banana Pro is also something you should check out. It uses the Gemini 3 Pro image preview model, and it generates much better images that you can use for content creation or for marketing purposes and so much more. So if you check out this next, in the latest news, you can see Salesforce CEO even hails Google Gemini 3 and says they're not going back to ChatGPT. And there's so much more praise and applause for how Google has structured everything and come out with a huge banger with their Gemini 3 model. And if I actually just search for Gemini 3, and let's say I go to try Gemini 3 from Google, actually I'm going to go for Gemini 3 pricing, or more like Gemini pricing. Let's click this. So here, if I go down here, so you can see Gemini has 3 pricing models free of charge, then Google AI Pro, which is 1950 rupees per month, and there's Google AI Ultra, which is 24.5k rupees a month. So if I had to convert this to dollars, that's going to be $275 a month. So this is a little on the expensive end, but it's pretty worth it if you want to invest money on something that is going to give you heavy returns, because this is going to contain everything about Gemini that you need, such as it's going to have the image generation tools, it's going to have the video generation tools across Flow and Whisk, then you can see it's going to have the CLI, it's going to have Notebook LLM, it's going to have YouTube Premium Individual Plan, higher storage capabilities, and then all the highest limits to every Gemini model. Basically, you pretty much won't run out of tokens. And it also has image generation, video generation with VO 3.1, and also access to DeepThink and Gemini Agent. And you can see you get 25,000 monthly AI credits versus the 1,000 monthly AI credits for the Google AI Pro. So if you're someone who has money and you are already invested in different AI platforms, you're already paying for their subscriptions, I would rather insist that you go and take the Google AI Ultra and you pay only for this package and get all the great benefits that Google AI Ultra provides, especially after their new Gemini 3 release, to actually maximize your productivity and produce things faster. So yeah, Google Gemini 3, as usual, Google is leading this AI arms race, and it has really shown people that with time and patience, you can actually come up with things that make a huge and real difference in this world. So yeah, I would really suggest you to try out Google's Gemini 3 and also put your thoughts down in the comment section on what you think about it. If you found the video insightful, drop a like and subscribe for more.